The Mobile County Public Schools presents Homeroom.
Hi, and welcome to Homeroom, where we introduce you to the students and the educators who make Mobile County Public Schools the best school system in the state of Alabama. I'm your host, Renee Phillips. Now, Superintendent Cressel Threadgill challenges all of us who work in the school system that if we're going to be leaders, we also have to be servers. And so during a recent principals meeting, he had about 80 of his principals go out into the community and give back. Now, what I find significant about this is these are principals who give back to the community every single day in their schools. But on this particular day, we visited 4 local organizations that are making a big impact, and we gave back to them. And those include Home of Grace, which is a recovery center for women who have substance abuse issues and are recovering from that. We also went to Light of the Village, which serves grown-ups and children in the Pritchard community. And we helped clean a cemetery with Mobile Baykeeper, which is a local organization that helps protect our air and our water. And then we also went out to McKimmey Place, which is a women's shelter. So joining me here today, I have J.P. Thurman, who works at McKimmey Place. So tell me, what is McKimmey Place?
Hi, thank you for having me. McKimmey Place is a homeless shelter for unaccompanied women, which means that we just service women. And we service Mobile, Baldwin, and Washington counties, but we don't limit that circumference. So we get women from as far as California, Missouri, and what our goal is to get them back on their feet, get them back housed, teach life skills, if they have domestic issues, if they have substance abuse, whatever need, mental illness, we help them with those needs.
And your shelters, so they come at night, you feed them, you give them a nice place to stay and a shower and all that.
We do. We have a day shelter, and that's where the case management takes place. That's where the programming takes place. I have different organizations come by that do resumes. Like we partner with our Sister's Closet, and Ms. Kearns does the resumes, interview skills, job skills, GED, things of that nature.
And I love that you're there for women,
right?
Particularly if they're vulnerable and they need the help. And then the goal is to get them back out and about and working.
Working, yes. And I have guests that are in school. I have guests that work. I have guests that work and go to school, because a lot of times it's just stigmatized that homelessness is associated with drugs and alcohol, and that's not always true. You know, life happens, you know. A lot of times people forget about death, loss of job, you know, divorce, and those things can make you homeless.
And they set you back, and then our goal is to put them back on so they can take care of themselves.
Exactly.
Okay, and so we do have some video of when our principals came out, and I got to go to McKimmey Place that day.
Yes,
and
awesome.
They're going to run the video in just a second. But one thing that we did, we made a table, or two picnic tables. Is that correct? So we had some of our facilities crew came out, and we used the power tools. And so are these picnic tables being used now?
Definitely, yes. When the ladies are like in the morning before they're transported to the day center, they can sit out, have their coffee, and when they come in the evening before they're actually entered into the building, they can sit out and just, you know, enjoy a breath of fresh air, and it just makes it look better, because the benches we had before they were not presentable.
Right, and these are some good-looking picnic tables.
They are. They're fine.
They are. And then the other thing that they did, they organized your donation closet.
Yes, that was awesome. And it's like, you know, you get a group of principals together and they can organize them.
They got it spick and span.
They got it spick and span. They threw out things that we didn't need. And when I got there, I was like, wow, they did an amazing job. And I shared that with my ladies. And that it motivates them. You know, it's like, you know, principals coming out to help. And I'm like, yes, they're giving back.
Right, very busy people.
Very busy people who
run schools.
Already run schools. And that's what I told them. I say, you know, you got to think about their job on a day-to-day basis. And for them to come out, that was a big thing.
I think one thing that we said, though, is these are organizations that serve our former students, our current students, their mothers.
Right. And we have some ladies that are there who has kids in the public school system. You know, they're there, and the kids may be with a relative. So it was awesome.
So besides this day with our principals helping, what can we as a community in Mobile, what can we do to help McKimmey Place?
As a community, awareness.
So just let people know that you exist. And
Awareness, and if you see a woman that sleeping in her car, that's just out on the streets, just awareness. Awareness.
that there is a place for them to go, that
There
they're
is a
welcome.
place for them to go.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for the work that you do every day, and I'm so glad that we could help you out even just for that little bit. I know hopefully that made
meant a lot, though. It meant a lot. It may seem like a small thing, but to us, it's a lot.
Thank you. Well, we have to break for commercial, and when we come back, I'll introduce you to some of the other great organizations that we have throughout our community in Mobile that our principals were recently able to give back to.
When it comes to getting your child through school, at times it can be overwhelming.
What school to choose, what classes to take, how to apply for college.
To help answer these questions and more, we would like to invite you to join us on Parent Connect as we take an in-depth look at some of the issues and concerns you may have about your child's education.
So get connected with Parent Connect, weekly right here on the MCPSS TV network.
Hello, my name is Kyla Brown and I am Redefining Ready. I'm taking AP and dual enrollment courses that will help me earn college credits while in high school. I am studying dental science that will assist me in my career choice of becoming a dentist. I am a Student Government Association representative and actively involved in other activities around my school and community. And this is how I am redefining ready.
The Environmental Studies Center is a natural sciences education facility designed to provide unique learning experiences. In addition, wildlife rehabilitation plays a vital role each day at the center. Featuring more than 500 acres of rich woodlands, the center affords teachers, students, and the general public an opportunity to experience firsthand the natural environment. Environmental Studies Center. It starts with us in the Mobile County Public Schools.
You never know where you can have an impact in this job, in this position, and we're community servants anyway. I mean, we serve communities, and that's what we do for a living, and love doing it, and chose to do this for a reason. So, you know, being able to be out here on site and helping on site is pretty unique.
So Mr. Campbell, who you just heard from, was one of our about 80 principals who participated recently in a day of service, where as part of our principals meeting, we went out to various community organizations and gave back to the community. Because like he said, you never know where your impact can be felt. And one of the groups that we worked with that day is Baykeeper. And joining me from Baykeeper today, I have Ryan Wilcoxon and Rachel Fillingham. And we were at Oaklawn Cemetery. And when I think about Baykeeper, I think about Mobile Bay, not a cemetery. So tell us what, y'all been working at the cemetery for a while. What are you doing there?
Well, we like to think about both sides of the bay. So we have Mobile County and Baldwin County. And when you think about that, you also have to remember how many different streams and tributaries feed into the Mobile River and then into the bay. So there's so many different bodies of water feeding into that system. So in the Tolmanville area where we were, that is right near Tolman's Spring Branch and right near 3 Mile Creek, and all of that ends up feeding into the river.
And so the cemetery, it's a historic cemetery. One thing that was neat was we found Maddie T. Blunt's grave. So we had the principal Blunt with us, so that was neat for him to see. But it's this huge cemetery, and it needs some help, right? It's litter and some work on the bushes, and so you got a call from us that said, what can we do to help? And then what was your thought?
Well, fortunately, Mobile County Public School Systems comes with a large amount of lawn equipment because you have so much land that we were unaware of. And so because you guys had all that lawn equipment, and there wasn't really a need for us to clean up litter from any nearby streams, then we were able to find out from one of our partners at Osprey Initiative, who puts litter getters in streams, that Oaklawn Cemetery was nearby and really in need of that large lawn equipment. So this was actually the first time that Baykeeper has partnered with Oaklawn Cemetery. So that was really great for us because we are all about educating and engaging the community, and we really like to collaborate with other community partners. And so it was just a beautiful way that fell into place for us to be able to bring some different organizations together for that day.
And I think we have some video, and I got to go out there for a little bit, and we had principals with weed eaters. There's some of them right there. They were cutting grass, and it was a noticeable difference, wasn't it? Just for the couple of hours that they were there, what did you see?
They went to work. They came and they were ready to get dirty, and there was a ton of really tall grass that they were able to cut away, and there were some hidden gravestones that they were able to kind of uncover that you couldn't even see them when we first got there. So they definitely made a really noticeable improvement on the area.
And to me, it's showing respect for the dead, because everyone deserves to rest in a place that's well kept. And I think it was neat. They were impressed because they got there and they're like, whoa, this is a lot of work. And then after a few hours, they could tell. And so just, you were there. What did you think, Ryan?
It was really great. And Oaklawn Cemetery has created an organization called Operation Overload. And they work to uncover the veterans' gravestones. And then they're able to mark them. And they have a really neat way they can do it with an app, and you can search for a person, and if that grave has been found, you can find that person. So it is a really great way to pay respect to our veterans. So we were really glad at Baykeeper that we were able to learn about what they're doing and to help out in that area as well.
And we noticed some of the graves, and there were American flags put out by them, and then there were some that looked like the graves at Arlington, weren't they?
Right, there were, yes, she was explaining to me, and we learned so much that day. There are 3 different types of veteran graves, and one of them has the curved head at the top, and it's the tall, more narrow headstone, and those are the ones that we see at places like Arlington National Cemetery, and so that's one of the 3 headstones that are out there at Oaklawn, and that's a telltale sign that that's a veteran right there.
And so are you continuing to do work at Oaklawn?
We are hopeful that we've opened up a door. At Baykeeper, we don't have the lawn equipment. So we're also hopeful that through MCPSS, we've opened up a door, and that, you guys will be able to partner with them as well. And I think that can definitely happen. And with Tolman Springs branch right behind there and 3 Mile Creek close by, Baykeeper, I'm sure will be back there. And we do a lot of work with different high schools in Mobile County Public School System, and LaFleur High School is right there, and we're out there a lot, so I'm sure we'll be back.
And we were talking earlier about the litter-free LaFleur. Tell me what that is.
Yes, so Baykeeper has a program called SWAMP, which stands for Strategic Watershed Awareness and Monitoring Program, hence the acronym SWAMP. And we get to go out to different schools once a month and take a small group of students out on a field trip once a month, and they go collect water from nearby waterways. And then they test that water for pH, dissolved oxygen, hardness, alkalinity, and then we take it back to our office and test it for high levels of bacteria. And so they know where it's safe to play and swim, and they know how that water is affected. And that's what we've done at LaFleur.
And for our students, that's a great learning experience, as well as a way that they can figure out how to help their community, right? Because like you said, everything leads into the bay, into the ocean, and it all has an impact on what we do.
Yes, and just like y'all were talking about with McKimmey Place, it's all about awareness. And so if students don't have the education in that area, there's no way for them to know. So Mobile Baykeeper has loved being able to partner with MCPSS through our SWAMP program so that we can go out and build awareness. And we actually do presentations in schools K through 12, not just the high schools, but the high schools are the ones who will take out once a month.
And so speaking of awareness, how can I learn more about Baykeeper?
We have a fabulous new website. It was just redesigned, mobilebaykeeper.org. And we have so many programs you can learn about. We've talked about the SWAMP program. We also have our swim program, which comes with an online app. And you can plug in any water area that you would like to play or swim in and see if it is safe to swim there based on the testing that's been done in the previous weeks.
Okay, so we should go, and is that the best way to learn how we can all give back to Baykeeper, right? Go to the website, see how we can plug in. I know you have things going on all the time.
Absolutely, and because we're a nonprofit, we run heavily on volunteers. And Rachel and I are both AmeriCorps members with Baykeeper, and our main job is to find volunteers and to get volunteers to help us with everything from cleanups outside to fundraising events that we put on. We have 4 huge fundraising events each year. We just had Bay Bash, which is our silent auction fundraiser, and coming up in the spring, we will have Bay Bites, which is our food truck festival, and we love volunteers to come and help us out, and it's a really fun time. So you can email any of us at Mobile Baykeeper, and we can hook you up with a volunteer opportunity.
So it's not all getting dirty like our principals did on that day.
No,
there's jobs for everybody to do.
Yes, there's a job for everyone. If you want to get dirty, we have that, but if you want to be inside, we have that too.
That's great. Well, thank you for the work that you do. We have to go to commercial, and when we come back, I'll introduce you to some of the other organizations that are doing great things in our community. So stay tuned.
Each month, more than 90 guns are reported stolen from unlocked vehicles, creating the potential of serious injury or death.
Lock it up.
Many violent acts and crimes are committed with stolen guns.
Lock it up.
According to ATF, stolen guns pose a substantial threat to public safety.
Lock it up.
Be responsible. Take time to record your handgun serial number and secure it from thieves. Lock it up.
Lock it up for me.
Hello, I'm Renee Phillips, your host of Homeroom. Will you join us as we talk with the students, teachers, and staff about all of the great things happening in our schools?
That's right, Renee. Not only are we here to keep you informed about the great things happening in our schools, but to also keep you updated on safety issues.
Our show, Safe Schools, looks at ways to keep your child and our students safe.
Not only are we looking at ways to keep your child and our students safe, but to keep you informed on how to connect with us.
Manténgase informado aquí en Conexión a Padres.
And we also score big from pre-K to high school with MCPSS athletics.
And then Inside Education puts it all together for you, showing you the ins and outs about news and events taking place across the Mobile County Public School District. We do this to keep you informed.
It feels good just to be able to come out to the community and give back. As a school principal, we are always asking and begging for something for our schools. So it's good for us to come out and be in the community and be able to give something back. It may not be a monetary donation, but coming and giving time means a lot.
Hi, and welcome back to Homeroom. Today I'm telling you about a fantastic experience that we had with about 80 of our principals and our central office leadership team. During a principals meeting, we went out into the community to serve, because that is one thing that Mr. Threadgill emphasizes, that if you're going to be a leader, you're also going to be a server. And we went out to 4 different organizations, and one of those organizations was Home of Grace. And I'm honestly not that familiar with Home of Grace, so can you tell me what it is?
Yes, the Home of Grace is a Christian, faith-based rehab for women. We serve ladies that are addicted to alcohol and drugs, and from the ages of 18 to 108, it doesn't matter. But we are a residential facility where they will come and stay for 90 days, so kind of for 12 weeks. So.
Well, that's great.
Yes.
So they come in, they need help, they're vulnerable, and you help them,
yes,
right?
Absolutely, absolutely. They get counseling, they get life skills, they get the group counseling, they get education on addiction, they learn how to cope in a better way of life than using drugs, because that's how they cope, is that they turn to drugs. And we show them a better way to cope and to deal with situations in life.
So you really are changing their lives.
Yes, amen. That's what it's all about.
And so that day when our principals came, they probably weren't familiar with it as well. So did you have to tell them what you do? And
Right, it was wonderful. I was so thankful I was actually there to be with them, and we gave them a kind of a tour to explained how the Home of Grace came about. The Home of Grace was founded 45 years ago from my grandmother, Doris Littleton, and it started in her home. And then when she got to about 15, 16 ladies, she had to find a bigger place, and that's where they found it in 8 Mile, Alabama, and at the campus there. And it's a big campus, and so they were able to see the dormitories and the chapel and the offices and everything that we have to keep up. So it was so nice to have them there and give them the tour, and then they were so wonderful to serve and help us that
And
day.
we have some video from that
wonderful,
day that
wonderful.
will show of our principals. So this is where you are. So they eat here, they live here, they have counseling here.
Yes.
And it does look beautiful. What did our principals do that day?
Oh my goodness, there was so much, you know, it's getting, as we know, in the wintertime, and then everything needed to be pruned back, and they were able to help us trim trees, do the yard work, just so much that needed to be done that we're not able to do as ladies. You know, we're all busy helping them, and so we just have volunteers that come in sporadically, and so they were able to help get everything pruned back, cleaned up. It was just amazing, and one of the things that was so wonderful is how organized and methodical and quickly it went. So we were just blown away at all the things that they were doing to help make our place so much beautiful as it normally is in the springtime. So it was nice to have them there. We're so very, very thankful.
I love the word that you used, methodical, because these are principals.
That's
so
right.
So they went right in and they got it
yes,
done, didn't they?
Yes, we have one of our board members that comes out all the time. He's so wonderful, Larry Mothershed, and he was there as well, kind of lead them, kind of show them, you know, this is the list of what needs to be done, and they ran with it, and they just did everything and so much more, and it was just a beautiful sight to see them, and we're so very, very thankful.
And so one thing about that day, Mr. Threadgill organized it, and the principals didn't know where they were going, so it was kind of neat. So that he had planned for these 4 places, and they were just told to bring some casual clothes, so they were in their jeans and their t-shirts, and they got on a bus. And they didn't, you know, they said, okay, now you're going to Home of Grace. And so I think they got to learn about your great organization. And then when they were done, could you just see a difference?
We sure could. Every year the pear trees have to be, and they go all the way down to Hallelujah Lane as they come in and around the campus, and they needed to be pruned back. And you could just see it looks so much fresher and cleaner, and we're just, you know, that's the one thing that, like I said, we need volunteers throughout the whole time of the year, but we were in great need to have the weeds done, the pruning done, and you could just see it was so much lighter and beautiful, and we're just so thankful. We're so appreciative to all of y'all that have made that possible. So.
Well, we appreciate it because these are people who may be our former students, our mothers.
That's right. That's right. You know, a lot of the ladies that were there, and that's one of the things that those McKinney Place was sharing. Some of their children go to those schools and probably saw the principals there, and so that's what we expressed to them is that, hey, you know, they're coming to serve us, and that's what it's all about, is to give back. And so we always try to teach them, you know, when you leave here, you know, volunteer somewhere, give somewhere back, because it's a part of keeping it is giving it away. Being thankful for what has been given to you to share with somebody else.
And that's something we teach our students, is to give back to the community, because we're part of the community.
That's right.
And we do a lot of projects throughout the year, and that's what I heard from the principals a lot that day, was that I want to be a model for my students so that they see me and they go out and do it. So it's kind of the same lesson you're teaching there.
Yes, exactly.
So how can I learn more about Home of Grace?
Well, you can go to our website. It's homeofgraceforwomen.com, and you can see the testimonies there, how the program has changed ladies' lives, and see all the programs that we offer. One of the things that I want to also share is that we do have, not only for just the women, we take pregnant, addicted women. So if anybody is pregnant and needs help, we want them to reach out to us, and we take ladies like that too, and we collaborate with USA Women and Children's, who've been wonderful throughout the many years of providing services to our ladies there as well.
Well, that's fantastic. Thank you so much for the work that you do. I know it's hard work, but very rewarding work, as you're making a difference in those ladies' lives.
Thank you.
Well, we have to go to commercial, and so stay tuned, and we'll talk some more about our day of service.
Hello, I'm Helena Tyler. I would like to invite you to join me for Inside Education. Come with us as we take a look at what's happening around Mobile County Public Schools, as well as what's happening in your child's classroom. That's Inside Education, right here on the MCPSS TV network.
At any given time, trauma can happen.
And how we deal with it.
And how we make peace with it.
starts with me.
With Project Thrive, I'm taking a pledge.
I pledge to believe and support others experiencing trauma.
Will you join Project Thrive and its team of partners who are working together to address issues of trauma? Take the pledge, take a stand, and let's make Mobile a trauma-informed community.
A teacher is one of the biggest investors in a community.
They impact the lives of those we value the most.
Teachers share knowledge which helps shape and mold our future leaders.
Teachers show direction and help build a sense of purpose.
Are you ready to make a change? For more information on teaching opportunities, teacher incentives, or to apply with the Mobile County Public Schools, log on to www.mcpss.com.
As a student in the Mobile County Public Schools, there are a few things I've come to expect. One is a quality education, and the other is a quality lunch. Not only are our school meals well balanced, meeting all federal nutritional standards, but they also have less fat, fewer calories, and they taste really good. Oh, and I forgot to mention, our school lunches contain whole wheat, grains, fruits, and vegetables to give me the energy and brain power to get me through the day.
Rather than just being a PR moment, it is the thing that where they really found out that, they're nice people, they get to know who we are. Even if they don't have children in our schools, they at least they see Mobile County and they see a positive, hey, these are people that are here helping us, volunteering to do something for us, and we make that connection. And then when we do need something, they're more than willing to come out and help us and say, you know what, this is a great group to support and a great group, an organization to help out.
Welcome back to Homeroom. That was one of our principals, Timothy Dollar of Wilmer Elementary School. He was one of about 80 principals who went out into the community for a day of service during one of our principals meetings. This is something that Mr. Threadgill has stressed that we do, that we give back to our children every day at school, but then it's also important for us to go out into the community. So on that particular day, there were 4 organizations that we went to. So today I've introduced you to people from McKimmey Place, which is a women's shelter, also to Baykeeper, which protects our air and water, and they're doing some projects at Oak Lawn Cemetery right now. And then we talked to Home of Grace. Now I'm going to tell you about Light of the Village, which serves adults and children in Pritchard. So we have some video of that day when our principals went there. So this organization provides after-school activities, including tutoring for children in the community. On this particular day, the principals were helping get ready for a big Thanksgiving dinner that they were hosting with about 1,000 people. So they were cleaning up and decorating. Also, they worked with some letters that the families had written to say what their children wanted for Christmas. And so Light of the Village got those letters together and compiled them and shared them with the appropriate organization so that they could try to make sure that the students and the children got what they needed for Christmas or what they wanted. So it's a great organization. They work with adults and children, and it was just a great opportunity for our principals to learn about Light of the Village and also to give back. It was a very special day. We heard time and time again from several of the principals that they want to be role models for their students, because one thing that we teach in Mobile County Public Schools is that we all need to give back to our communities, and they wanted their students to see that they spent the day giving back to these organizations that serve our families, our students. So thank you so much for joining us for Homeroom today. I hope that you will look for ways that you can volunteer in your community, and some of the organizations that we looked at today would be a great start. It's McKimmey Place, Baykeeper, Home of Grace, and Light of the Village. But thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time on Homeroom.